Titans issue 10. Tom Taylor writing with Lucas Meyer on the art. So this is obviously continuing the Trigon stuff and Raven's whole thing. I must say, I got a good couple of laughs last issue out of Trilogy, the son of Trigon.
Yeah.
I got a lot more laughs out of him this issue. The opening where he's trying to steal the magic axe from like Trigon's room, and like the other dude shows up. What's his name? Serverless.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What are you doing, Trilogy?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm sick of Raven getting all the attention. I'm going to go deal with this." And he grabs the axe, and the axe instantly turns him into as big as Trigon, basically, yeah. And like he's like, well, if I let you walk out of here with that, make sure you remember I let you out of it if you do come out of power. And he's like, how could you stop me? He's like, oh, I can't, but I could go tell your dad what you're doing and enjoy what happens next. He's like, all right, fine, I'll remember this then. and then
I will remember.
Trigon like pops his head out afterwards and goes, okay, is it done? So this is clearly what he wants. He planned for his idiot son to do this.
God, he is a failed trilogy. We get that in movies a lot, right? Nothing more than this failed trilogy. But I kind of like how much of a lovable loser he is, you know? Like, I don't want him to succeed, but I do feel bad, like, he's just trying to be a good son. But yeah, here, and then also Servilius going, how come these power-up items, what is it? Why do these items of power always add muscle definition, right? Because Trilogy goes from just being kind of like this scrawny, he almost looks like Red Devil, Blue Devil's sidekick from early Titans, to this Hulk-esque jacked demon. Very funny.
Yeah, so back at Titans Tower, there's a little bit of talk about Donna saying, hey, yeah, Raven dealt with that fake Hermes. And I'm like, yeah, Donna, by the way, that was the real one. Maybe want to heed that warning. But they're basically talking about that Wally's not there for now because he's busy with Flash stuff, which makes sense. He's in a bad place in Flash. We also immediately get an example of Beast Boy now being just kind of happy-go-lucky, and Cyborg and Starfire even are like wondering, like, why is he okay all of a sudden? And Starfire even turns to Raven and says, did you do something? Because like, there's no way he's over that quickly. That was too traumatic not to be.
I like that Starfire says too, I come from an emotional people. I know deep feelings don't change so swiftly. And like evil Raven is shocked, like, oh, I didn't think his friends would notice. So I like that little story piece right there.
Yeah, and she kind of admits to it to an extent, obviously without the full context. And Starfire is about to like give her a lecture, but then that's when they get a call from Oracle saying there's a thing going on in the water, and Tempest goes out to see what it is.
I also like that early on they ask, it's Nightwing and Donna are like, yeah, we're gonna need like a sorcerer, you know. It would be nice after the stuff that we've been through. And they're like, well, who do you know? And then that was a nice reminder that, you know, Tempest himself is a pretty accomplished Atlantean sorcerer. Yeah. So that was a nice in-universe reminder.
But this thing in the water turns out to be a big portal opening, and it's our boy Trilogy jumping out, who's jacked like the Hulk, with his big axe, and he's storming through the streets, coming for Raven. And the Titans are like rescuing people around. Beast Boy has a moment where this guy doesn't want to be saved by him when he's turned into a horse, and the girlfriend of the guy's like, George, swallow your stupid pride and get on the horse.
Yeah, so, get on the devil horse.
So they get out. But yeah, Raven obviously steps up front and also tells them, hey, the axe is the source of the power. You want to deal with that. Everyone kind of gets involved. Cyborg and Starfire are kind of distracting him, whilst Donna lassos his hand, and then eventually Raven's able to, well... because he says something to the effect of, oh, you'll never get this axe away from me.
As long as I'm holding it.
Yeah, and she cuts off his arm really, really violently, and of course the axe falls to the ground, and he turns back to normal size. Of course, now he's missing his arm, and Raven drags him by the horn and says, I'm going to take him back to hell, somewhere where he can't bother us again. And she walks off holding this axe, dragging him across the ground. And it already looks really dark. Like, guys, are you not noticing Raven's acting a bit weird? But interestingly, Trilogy gives them a seed, because as they're going through the portal, he yells out, "No, don't let her take me. You don't know what she is. You," and then it cuts off because they go through the portal. And there's just a close up of Nightwing's eyes, like they've got that seed, because Trilogy knows what he's talking about here. He knows that Raven's not actually in control. It's it's Dark Raven or whatever we're calling her. So I love that this seed's been planted now, and maybe they're going to like figure things out. But yeah.
I also like, if you look on that panel, look at her shadow.
Oh yeah, that's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
the demon shadow.
Yeah, well, and also, right, if the same rules apply to the axe that they did to Trilogy as they do to Raven, good luck getting that out of her hand now.
I mean, I don't think she'll keep it. I think she'll probably just give it back to the Trigon. But
I don't know. Yeah, the Dark Winged Queen. That's what we're going with.
Yeah, Dark Winged Queen. That was it. So she actually traps Trilogy in the gem, just like Good Raven is. So he's put in there with her, and she's all,
Yeah,
evil. She makes herself a crown out of light.
Yeah.
It's all very spooky and like villainous and whatnot.
Yeah. So I like the fact that she put Trilogy in there with Rachel, because again, reading that Tales from the Titans, they were playing up on the relationship of, the guy that Trilogy is, like how Rachel is also Raven. I forget his name, but how they were going to try to be closer, and that might be good because, the one thing that unifies them is, Dad's always trying to manipulate them. So I like here that she puts him in there with her, and, hopefully we get some more of their relationship.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the final page of the book sets up the other antagonist right now, which is Amanda Waller, and she's with Morrow, and she's got Dr. Morrow building her something, and we kind of get a glimpse of this sort of female-looking robot called Vanadia. I'm going to pronounce that. But they do bring up here where, like, one of them asks, like, "Oh, who was she before? Like, where did you get that?" Which presumes that either there was a base robot or a base woman that's been used to build this thing.
Yeah.
And he just kind of says, "Oh, does it matter?" I do wonder if that's going to come up at some point. Maybe, like, whoever this was to begin with is going to either turn out to be someone, or maybe we'll sort of learn about whoever the person was, and it'll be, like, part of, like, appealing to their humanity or something down the line.
Yeah. She kind of reminds me of that new version of OMAC that was from Superman and the Authority.
Oh, I can see that.
Was on Warworld. So I wonder if it's something along those lines of like a cyborg type warrior.
I did do that thing in this page though, where there was a second of doubt where I'm like, is this just like a big character that I don't know? And I'm just like, oh, am I meant to recognize who this is? But no, it does say on DC Wiki first appearance. I did check.
Okay.
Just to be sure.
Yeah.
So. But that said, though, I do think they could swerve us into it being, someone was used as a base for this, or even if it is someone completely new, then maybe whoever they were will come up and we'll learn more about them in some way. But I do think it's interesting. It does make me wonder, like, are the Titans going to have dealt with the Rachel stuff by the time this Vanadia attacks?
Yeah.
Or is that something where they're going to be like fighting this cyborg-looking chick? At the same time, they're sort of still starting to doubt Raven and try to deal with it. I could see both of these things happening simultaneously to make their lives just absolute misery.
And this seems kind of tipping to what we know about Absolute Power as well, that Waller's putting, a team of these super powered things. They almost seem like a Mesos, almost, right? Like they're copying superhero stuff.
Well, I mean, it did occur to me this bot does look very Starfire colored.
Yeah.
With a little bit of cyborg and like that metal plate on the head looks very cyborg-esque.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if by the time we get the full version that there's maybe a little bit of all the Titans kind of sprinkled throughout the design.
And usually I'm the guy that knows this, but T.O. Morrow is the guy that did Red Tornado, right?
Yes. Red
okay.
Tornado.
So I wonder if that has something to do with it as well. Right, because he does androids.
I don't blame you for asking, because Ivo, Morrow, and what was the other one that I always mix up?
Magnus.
Magnus, that's the other one. There's the three robot-y scientists that I always mix up at DC.
And only one of them's good, right? And that's Magnus. I know that one. But
that's the Metal Man.
Ivo's a Meso, and then T.O. Morrow is Tornado. So all the O's, Silver Age, They thought adding O to things made it sound more scientific.
Yeah. And Red Tornado became good.
Yeah. But there was also the 4, I think that was it was around the New 52, where there was the 4 others, so they were all the elements, and they all had different names. There was like Red Inferno, Red Tornado, I can't remember the rest of them, but yeah. So, but yeah, Morrow definitely works with the androids. So this kind of leans into the solicits this week of where Waller's going, which I do like that, you know, we don't necessarily need to write through the continuity this way, but I do like when it seems there's a couple writers that are working towards the same goal. You know, so it seems like Wade and Williamson and Taylor are all kind of sharing notes.
Yeah, I thought this was a really entertaining issue again. I'm loving the ongoing story, and I think everything with Trilogy here over these last 2 issues has been very funny, which is a credit to it. I think it's a really good example of Taylor knowing how to make even just the simplest of like stories have a fun vibe to them, whilst also still building up the drama that's building in the background, which is Raven's secretly evil Raven, she's doing all this stuff. And there's these little seeds being planted for the others, or even the tease at the end with Waller and building this new villain. Like, I think this is a very high quality ongoing comic book in the same way that Nightwing is. And I think it's like really finding its footing with this arc, where I'm like enjoying it more than I even have been up until now. And it's very comforting to know that this will still be here for at least a while when Nightwing's done.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Really cool stuff. Plus, you know, I think Meyer's art has been really solid. I think, again, all the Trilogy expressions, because he's such a sort of slime ball who gets this power but doesn't really know how to wield it, is entertaining. You know, just really, really good vibes from a lot of this.
Yeah.
Even something as simple as Starfire's reaction when Raven kind of admits that she did a bit of a emotion wipe with Gar is quite good.
Well, and just his expression on Trigon as the disappointed dad, it's going, you know, he can keep going back to that well, and I'm going to pop for it every time.
He's just the Immortum Joe from Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes.
Mediocre.
Yes. And Trilogy's that poor war boy.
Yes.
You know, he just wants to be looked at with favor.
All right, what are you giving Titans?
I'm going to give this an 8.5.
I agree. I think 8.5 is a good number for it. I think I can't quite give it the 9. Part of me wants to, but it just isn't into like sort of special territory. But it's really, really great, and like
it's getting close to it though. It keeps touching the boundary.
Yeah.
You know.
So very good.